Hi, this is Jody from Poppywinkle, and today I'm going to talk about all these little pieces of fun stuff. We have dates, numbers, postage stamps, all these little delicious pieces of ephemera. I'm going to talk about some ways to use them and how you can make your own. So this is my little packet of ones I have right now, and I keep them in this glass. I think it's glassine. It's a nice bag I got from the post office. I bought a packet of or a set of stamps like this, and I got them in this bag. And even though they're not the same, I mean, there's postage stamps and there's numbers and there's addresses, but I use them for the same purpose for the most part. So I'm just keeping them all together in my bag. The main way I use them is in collages. When I'm working on a collage, usually near the end, there's a stamp, there's a number. I just stick them in wherever I think something needs to happen. Right here, up here. And so I don't tend to put them on the bottom because then they'd get covered up because they are so little. But a lot of times after I finish a collage, or I think I've finished it, I think, oh, there's a little blank spot there. What else? What else can I put in there? And that's when my little numbers come to the rescue. There's, oh, that's a sticker, or no, that's a actual stamp. There's one. There's a stamp. And here's 25 cents. Another number. Yeah. So they're little, but they make such an impact. Another way I like to use them is to make these, I think people call them snippet rolls. I always called them a stripped collage. Maybe they don't call it that. I don't know. But anyway, I call it a strip collage. And it's just, this is a piece of drywall paper. And I just took anything. You know, it didn't have to be pretty. Things that I never thought I would use. And I just lined it up. And of course, there's the numbers. They're always going to make an appearance. And then I sewed up and down. And here's another one. Number there, number there, number there, number there. And what those are good for, they're great for, you just keep them, and when you need something to decorate a tag or a belly band, then you have like a ready-made collage and you just glue that right onto wherever you need it. Here I took two of them, again with the numbers, and I put it onto a fold-out in a book. And so that decorated that whole page, you know, in a matter of seconds because I just had the strip collage already done. So I like to have them around, especially if I'm in the middle of something. Now here I used a real postage stamp, no, a real postage stamp, but a stamp I made, and I stuck it onto this postcard. So that adds a real nice air of authenticity. Other ways to use them are in specimen slides. So if you're making any specimen slides, it's always nice to have some kind of little number down there. Number. This one's a specimen slide with a number, and then I just put it on top of a little journaling fold-over card. And here I used the specimen slide on a tag, again with a number. Another way to use them is on a cluster. That was a paint chip, and I sewed around it. I put some corrugated cardboard, some vellum, a sticker, a rub-on, and a number. Oh, and I sewed around the number too. They're also good for tickets. I think these are all made the same with a little background on top of the ticket. That one's like a little grid pattern. And then a sticker, a number, and a rub-on. So that's a quick little formula. But all those numbers in all those places. So tickets is a good way to use them. And here I used a ticket on a tag. So I made a tag, put a background on it with a brad and a sticker, and then glued that onto the tag. So numbers are everywhere. I got this hat box from my best friend Allison, and she got it from Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop. And so it's kind of he's a YouTuber, and so it's kind of a YouTube treasure here. But I use it to keep little things I've made, postcards and tags, and of course numbers and stamps are going to figure prominently. We've got numbers and a stamp. I love gluing a stamp right onto the corner of a postcard. You know, it's like so obvious. I love the obvious. Here's some more numbers. Here's a stamp. Lots of numbers. I didn't have many stamps until recently, so I'm just starting to use those with the numbers too. This is corrugated cardboard that I pulled apart, and the lines are just from that. I think they're little remnants of glue, but it becomes nice writing paper. Here's another ticket turned into a tag with a brad and a little stamp there. Another postcard with a stamp. And oh, here's another one down here. Another postcard with a stamp. So let me show you how I make them. So I made this printable. It has little numbers and some bigger numbers. And it has little stamps. And I'll show you why they're so close together, the stamps. That's on purpose. And it has big stamps. And I printed them. I don't have any really nice copy paper. I just have the 20 pound. So this and this, they're printed on the 20 pound, and this. And that's okay. If I had a little thicker, more cottony paper, I think that would be nicer. And this one I put on, this is a thicker, more linen piece that I had coffee dyed poorly. And so I printed that on that, and I like that better. There's just a little better feel to it. And then this is even better because they're stamps, and I remember when you used to have to lick stamps. I decided to try putting on some envelope glue, and I'll put the recipe to that. So I put on some envelope glue that you lick and stick, and boy did that give it perfect texture, really nice texture. So I'm gonna see if it works. The way I make them is I get a tracing wheel, which is a sewing tool one thing I wanted to be sure to mention, even though I have smaller numbers and bigger numbers, if you get this and these sizes aren't the ones you want, you can make this a little bigger or a little smaller, or twice as big or twice as small when you print. You just go into your print dialog and it says, you know, print at 100%, it's usually set on. But if you want to make it bigger, you set it on 150%. Or if you want to make it smaller, you set it on 60%. And so, you know, it's not going to necessarily, if you make it smaller, it's not going to take up the whole page. And if you make it bigger, you're not going to get all the pieces on it. But you can change the sizes of any printable you have just by printing it, just when you print it. So that's something to always keep in mind, whether, you know, with any printable. You are in charge. So here's my tracing wheel. It has little sharpish things. And I've already gone around the outside. And this is the one I have the glue on. I'll tell you the feel of that. I don't know if you can hear it, but the feel of that is incredible. So what you do is you line up. The up and down pieces are all in line. Like these aren't in line this way, but the up and down ones are all in line. So you can just use a ruler, go back and forth a little bit with your tracing wheel. I'm standing up because that gives me some leverage. That was probably way too much. And I'm holding the small side down with my ruler because it's easier to pull the big side, if that makes sense. If I had had it like this and I'm trying to pull this little side, that's harder to do, is what I'm saying. So there that is, a nice row of delicious stamps. And then you just go again and cut them into pieces. And I hope you can see they have that nice jaggedy edge. That's the whole point. You know, you could use a paper trimmer, sure, but I like I like the ripped edge. So that's how I make the stamps. Oh, and I also inked around the edges a little bit. You wouldn't have to do that, but I want to use one of these stamps. So I'm going to just quick ink around the edges, and that covers some of that white and makes it just look old. So here I am with some of my newly minted ephemera, and I'm just going to peek into this little book. I just started decorating this, and I bet there's something that needs a little something here. Yeah. All right, so this is a tag, you know, a little thing I made from a masterboard, both of these. In fact, it went like that. But they could use a little something, right? So I've got my sticky stamp. Lick it. I'm going to put it there. And I'm going to do a number 2. No, I'm not going to do a number 2. I'm going to put a number on here also. All right, and this one I'm going to put a, I have little postmark thingies, stamps. I'm going to put a little postmark on this one. Yeah. And then, oh, and I can lick it and stick it. I'm going to put it this way. I'll put a number on this one as well. you go. So anyway, lots of fun ways to play with these. Usually in the end of the project, you know, whatever the last steps are, it's usually one of the last steps. But if you want the printable, it's in my shop, and I'll leave a link to that. And let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. Bye.